we're coming to you fresh off of Game 3, and it was the Evander Kane show in Edmonton as the midseason pickup had a natural hat trick in 6 minutes in the second period of a 4-1 Oilers win, and they now lead the series 2-1. Kane now has 10 playoff goals, leads the NHL. Of course, McDavid, 3 assists, unbelievable, 6 goals, 17 assists in 10 games. He has 23 points right now, Biz. It would have led the NHL in playoff scoring in 2011, 2012, 2015, and 2019. He's played 10 friggin' games. He's also the first player in NHL history with 9 multi-point games within the first 10 contests of a single postseason. This guy's rewriting the books. We're going to go to you in a second. I thought it was a horrible call on Milan Lucic. They called him charging. I don't know if Calgary was going to come back or not, but that cut them off at the knees. Any chance they had of coming back, bullshit call. I thought it kind of...
They weren't coming back.
Well, they definitely weren't after that, but let's go to you, Mr. Oiler. What do you got for us, buddy?
Wow. Wow is all I can say. Biz, let me tell everyone at home. Biz just said, hey, I think I'm going to let you take the Edmonton-Calgary series at the beginning. You think? You think, Biz? It's an absolute drumming the last 2 games. Biz just said, guys, hey, G, I saved my recording from the first half of the show. I'm a step ahead of the game. Biz, I already saved mine and sent it to him to fix the podcast and edit podcast. That's how ahead of Edmonton Calgary is, and me ahead of you right now. You got that shaved head in the middle of the shaved head on national TV, TNT. You're going to look like a fool. Connor McDavid right now. Biz, even you're over there just dreaming of having a player like that. I need to shave the top of my head. If only I had a Connor McDavid. Game 2 started off horrifically. Not as bad as game 1, but either way, bad start. 2-0. What does McDavid do? One hand behind the net, gives it out to Duncan Keith. We're back in the game. And Duncan Keith, at times during the year, did he struggle? Yeah. You know, he's getting older, not his best season. This is why you bring in Duncan Keith. Because you believe you can get into the playoffs and you have a guy with 3 Stanley Cups and gold medals up the cornhole. And that's why. And all of a sudden, this guy's playing unreal. McDavid starts that play. Then maybe the play of the playoffs. I'm an Oilers fan. McDavid making Zadorov look like Whitney circa, I don't know, 2010, 2014. Maybe 1993 even to 2000 when I retired. He made Zadorov look like a scrub and then gives it to Keith with just the sickest give and go you've ever seen. And boom, we're right back in the game. I don't know what you're going to do because this was the whole goal. The Oilers, right? It was a struggle. It was a question mark. Mike Smith, Biz, you actually always said you believed in him. He's now in a groove. And we were just like, just get us in and we have McDavid. McDavid can just win the cup. Right now, you have no answers. Your team looks flat. Your team looks weak. Your team looks pathetic, really, in the last, game and a half, maybe 2. Yeah, not the whole game, 2. Last 5 periods, we own your ass. And I don't really know where you go from here because Markstrom's struggling. You're that's your man, right? But you're kind of panicked. Like, this is our Vezina style, type goalie. I don't know. Gaudreau and Tkachuk and those guys. I don't know, buddy. I don't know. So I know one thing. You're nervous. And I tweeted, you're shaking in your boots, used boots from when you bought a piece of leather, old pleather boots from Carl from Calgary in the parking lot of the Stampede. You still wear these fucking things too. You're shaking in those boots. And I can just tell looking at you, you don't know what your team's going to do. Mind you, folks, Sunday, May 22nd, Paul Bissonnette, he wants the Rangers, lose. He wants the Panthers, lose. He really needs the Flames, loss. So talk to me about your Dave. Talk to me about where you're at.
I didn't want the Rangers, you fucking idiot. I wanted Carolina, so you misspoke, you dumb.
Damn it. I would have crushed the whole thing, Grinelli.
I don't know why the Calgary Flames decided that they wanted to play pawn hockey with the Edmonton Oilers from the start of this series. I thought that game 1 was a shit show, and I thought they would have learned their lesson. Hey, listen, I've never been a head coach before. I would have been nervous as shit and probably pulled Markstrom at the end of the second period come game one. But hey, Sutter made the right call. He stuck with him. They tied up the game a minute into the third period, and then they come storming back and finally win that game. I'm like, oh, you laid a hot steaming pile of dog shit, and you got out alive. Then game two, boom, boom. 2-goal lead in the first period. They're fucking laughing. All of a sudden, Backlund, he gets a half breakaway and he overstick handle it and bobbles it. And I said, motherfucker. The minute that he overbobbled that, I said, oh no. I said, we're going to find ourselves in a game one type of situation. We're going to try to go back to playing Edmonton Oilers hockey, up and down the ice, high flying, turnover here, mismanaging the puck there. The lack of details to Calgary's game compared to the regular season, it is mind-numbing from a fan perspective. And when I say a fan perspective, I watched a ton of Leafs games and I watched a ton of Calgary games. I don't understand why they're trying to defend McDavid and Draisaitl the way they're doing it. They don't have many other guys on the deeper lines. I think that Edmonton has a vulnerable back end. I question Mike Smith, although he's playing like the Mike Smith that I saw when we made our run to the conference finals, where he's got all the confidence in the world. You could just tell by his fucking beady eyes and net through those cat eyes and his goalie mask. Then they get up 3-1 in game two, and then right back to McDavid. He ends up scoring that goal. Or sorry, Draisaitl scored the goal. And we got to get into this conversation. It was a bit of a shit show with all the disallowed goals. I thought that Edmonton got hosed
on the first one.
Edmonton got hosed because the puck wasn't froze between Markstrom having his paddle on it and Mike Stone. Is it Mike Stone?
I don't know.
In
Stone's
the crease.
brother.
And they pull it back, so it's still the 3-1 lead. And then McDavid gets the goal disallowed, in which Draisaitl ended up following up when McDavid did run into the goal in Markstrom. He did run into him, and it was the proper call.
Yeah,
but
once I saw the replay, I agreed.
But no less than a minute later, and this is the issue with the Calgary's back end right now, which I loved all season long. Big, strong, commanded the front of the net, didn't give up a ton of high-quality scoring chances. What the fuck is Zadorov thinking lunging at McDavid the way that he did? Just contain him. Put your stick out, keep a stick length, allow him to move that puck and then try to drive the net and then contain him there. He lunges at him, falls over with his big, dumb Whitney feet, and then McDavid beats him to the net and then has all the time in the world to fucking walk that in and just slide it around Markstrom. And then as Gobranson's trying to lunge in. From the minute that goal that was let in, I knew they were going to lose that fucking game. I think I even tweeted it out. And then to come out and have the performance that they did, not only after giving up that first goal in game three, the game and puck management by Coleman on that second goal as he crosses over the offensive blue line. Once again, it's right back to why the fuck are you trying to play pond hockey against the best pond hockey player team in the league? If you give McDavid and Draisaitl that type of time and space and you don't want to manage the puck appropriately, they're going to shove it right up your hoop as they did. And listen, all the credit to Evander Kane for having the playoffs that he's has had, 2 hat tricks now. But buddy, I could have scored those fucking goals playing with the dishes that McDavid was feeding him over. Forehand, backhand, right in the back of the net. And given with what Markstrom did all season long, and the fact that Sutter is as stubborn as he is, I assume that he's going back to Markstrom in game 4. But if we see the same type of performance, and listen, he had a great first period, but as far as positioning wise, maybe a little bit fish out of water and really not the Markstrom we saw all season long. Can we agree on that? Despite how many shots were on net and maybe how much he was hung out to dry based on shots, not the Markstrom we've seen all season long. So give him the net in game 4, but if they manage the puck and they play the way they have so far in this series, regardless if they won game 1 or not, they're going to lose in 5 games to the Edmonton Oilers and McJesus and crew. And
okay, Biz, can I ask you one question? As
sure. This is not the Calgary we saw in the regular season.
Okay,
they are playing down to Edmonton standards.
Florida North.
They are a shell of what they were in the regular season. They were, I believe, first in the league at how many shots they allowed per game. 23.9 shots per game they allowed. I will agree that Carolina had the better overall team defense and allowed the least amount of goals. But as far as shots allowed and quality scoring chances allowed, Calgary was easily in the top 3 overall in all defensive numbers. What we're seeing now is a team that has completely lost their mind. I love Tkachuk. He needs to fuck off with the Evander Kane chirping shit. Fuck off.
Well, what's he gonna say now? Because Kane just lit him up for a natural.
We got Calgary Flames fans dumping money over the glass, trying to taunt Kane too. Leave him alone. Let him sleep. It ain't working. He's dummying you. So
okay, Biz,
I'm disgusted.
Let me ask you
sure.
this.
Ask me a question.
Panthers?
I'm having a meltdown.
Yeah,
here.
Panthers Fugazis a little bit. And I don't know, though, if it's more, do we give credit to Tampa the same way? I'm going to say Calgary may want to play their style hockey, defensive hockey, limit the chances, take advantage of turnovers, basically how they work over Edmonton every time they play them in the regular season. It felt like past few years. I think with McDavid at this level, he's breaking down their entire team because
that's
the line
fine.
that's out. But listen, the line that's on the ice is getting out chance. It doesn't matter right now. Like, this is what this guy is. You know, you got NHL players texting each other, talking like, what the fuck are we watching out here? Right? We've seen some legendary runs in the playoffs, and it's only
how many times tonight of all those?
Hold on. It's only 3 games in the second round. But what he's doing is so outer worldly. It's so impressive that he's crushing the 5 guys on the ice for Calgary, right? And all of a sudden, dude, that game's just flowing, right? So the next line that comes out, you're exchanging chances. They're getting power plays. All of a sudden, they're getting more momentum. So the way McDavid's playing, he's literally fucking the entire Flames game plan up on his own.
Okay, I'll say one thing. All praise to McJesus. Out of the way. 3 things on the Calgary side. Discipline. Absolute dog shit discipline. They're getting in a pissing contest. They're even when they have these leads, they're just playing like fucking buffoons. Okay, when you have McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice, your game plan, regardless of who on the ice, should be you want to play in the offensive zone below the goal line and not feed into their transition. Enough with the high risk type of passes and turning it over. And then all of a sudden you have this massive amount of gap in space so he can wind it up. And listen, Calgary, other than Shillington, does not have a mobile back end. What makes Calgary good defensively is playing as a 5-man unit. And they ain't fucking doing that right now. And on top of that, when you are defending McDavid and Draisaitl, and even though Draisaitl, like we talked about his straight down the ice speed, it's pretty good given the fact that he's got an ankle injury.
He's actually looking better and better.
He's looking better and better. Like it wasn't that serious, which is scaring me even more. You need to defend him skating forward. You can't just fucking back up. I talked to Rick talking about it, and he said, like, he's like, yo, listen, like, I understand that, like, you know, we didn't have a fucking juggernaut. The one year they ended up going to the bubble and beating Nashville, and then I think they lost in 5 games to Colorado. They ended up sneaking out 1 win because Darcy Kemper fucking played out of his mind. But he said, Biz, I had a winning record against Edmonton because I understood how you had to defend McDavid, and they did it last year with Winnipeg. Yep. They did it too. And I'm not saying he's playing to the same standards last year. I'm not saying it's the same team either. What I'm saying is they're playing him like a fucking buffoon. So they're making it far easier for McJesus in order to do what he can do on another scale. They're feeding into that. So I'm going to calm it down here. We should probably throw it over to RA, but the way that they're playing their game compared to the regular season, they're playing like morons. And I'll tell you what, if Sutter doesn't have any, if Sutter doesn't have any adjustments, they're fucked. They're going to lose this series in 5 games if they play exactly the way they've been playing. They are playing like bozos.
Okay. I hear that anger. All right, my question for you. Oh, quick shout out, Zach Hyman. Whoa. Talk about
series kid.
Like what you're thinking when you sign the guy. He is that goal in game 2, the breakaway to break.
A breakaway.
hope. I know.
3-3. He gets a fucking
Short-handed.
breakaway.
Short-handed game winner.
And
Two
he,
short-handed game
bar
winners.
down. He looks great. My question for you, RA.
Yeah.
Give me recent or in your lifetime playoff performances like this from that you can relate to what McDavid's doing.
Lemieux and Gretzky.
I mean, yeah. Literally,
How
those are
crazy
the only,
is that to
those
say?
are the only two that come to mind. I mean, it's obscene. I mean, Biz, we were kind of on the same wavelength the other night. You were on TNT, and you're saying, you said we're seeing another Wayne Gretzky. You gave some great words for him. And I tweeted, it might have been the same night. I said, what a goddamn game. I says, enjoy this now, folks. I'm like, we're watching the best on the planet build his legacy in real time. And it's a privilege. It's like when I was younger, man, and Larry Bird played with, like, I was a dumb teenager. I didn't appreciate it as it was happening.
You know something's different.
Like you just know, like, this is greatness as in real time. Like, this kid there's no one like him since fucking 99 and 66 were playing, and we're getting to see it. And like, that's why I want him to win. I mean, it's not about being an Oilers fan. It's about being a McDavid fan. It's about wanting to see the best on the planet at the highest level, trying to win the title, man. Like, if you're watching hockey, how do you not root for this kid to get to the fucking finals, man?
And
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps today thinking of like the NHL and having McKinnon and McDavid facing off to go to the Cup.
I think it's going to happen.
Oh.
I'm not confident at all. I think Edmonton's going to win this series.
But I was so not confident after game one, and that's why, as cocky as I'm being right now, it's still like it's the swings, as a fan in the playoff. Like, I've played, I never would say since I played in the NHL, I've been really a fan of any particular team. I root for my friends, but I like when the Bruins are doing good. Living in Boston, you're going to games. It's exciting in the city. But this is my year as a fan of the Oilers. RA, it's like after every game, this highest of highs, and then you lose the next one. It's the lowest of lows. It's just, now granted, I have my ear and a disgusting earring. By the way, my mom said to me tonight, she's over. She's like, you can just get the fake earring. I'm like, do you know what would happen to me if they end up found out that it wasn't even a legit earring?
Clip on.
I'd be booted off the internet forever.
Hey.
So it's exciting. It's crazy. The plays tonight, I mean, the other thing about McDavid, like tonight was the same instance in the first period. He could have like six more points all these games. There's actually like grade A chances that, I mean, Marshall's making saves or guys are blocking shots. It's like he has the puck. He's cutting back and forth through everyone, stopping, going, turning on a dime. There's actually nothing. It doesn't matter what anyone does. They can't stop him. And even when you seem to angle him off the boards, he's chucking like a backhander through a defender's legs all of a sudden to create a 2-on-1 somewhere else. It's out of this world. It's very, very enjoyable to watch right now.
I'll summarize again. You can't play track meet hockey against that team. If you want to do it, just do it when McDavid and Draisaitl aren't on the ice. You have to be way more disciplined. The amount of just bonehead stupid mistakes has to be limited to cut it in a third. Going back to the like from a fan perspective, the game 2, everybody from a Calgary standpoint is complaining about that non-goal. Fuck off with all this shit. It's a wash.
Everybody gets fucked in the playoffs.
Both of them got hosed. And from a non-biased perspective, going back to the Lucic play, it should have been a 2. I understand why it was 5. It was a 5 because the referee is trying to manage the game, and he's saying, if I keep this guy in the game, things could get ugly. I don't think you could clearly see that Luch got to a point where he put his hand there and was trying to stop himself. Smitty got pushed off balance. If you're a Calgary fan, you're saying, oh, the embellishment, and we've seen it before from Smith. No, I ain't even going to go there either. It was just a mistake. It was an ugly collision. He goes to concussion protocol. He shouldn't be suspended. Give him the 5. The game was out of reach anyway. So it's all a wash. Enough with fucking complaining about the calls. Edmonton's up 2-1 fair and square. Calgary needs to bring their A game on the road. And shout out to Ben. Ben's been their good luck charm all season long. Play La Bamba. I'm happy for that kid. And he's obviously given them that extra little mojo that they deserve right now. And all the credit to Edmonton and what they're doing to my Calgary Flames.
Hey, did you see that? Layla from St. Louis, Layla Anderson, reached out to Ben, wrote him a nice letter. Because she went through a similar experience. And they posted online. Just a really nice, just a young kid to have the wherewithal and maturity to send a letter like that to the little guy. It was such a nice thing she did. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And Biz, to go back to Markstrom, this stat was actually going into tonight's game. The Oilers have scored 5 or more in 5 of 6 games against Markstrom this season. Obviously, regular season and playoffs. That didn't even include tonight, where they got 4 off him tonight before he got yanked.
All right, it's a great stat because I know in recent memory, at least a couple of the later games in the year that got out of hand. I know that Flames put up a 9-piece on them not long before playoffs, but also in return, they gave up a bunch as well. So this is not out of character for these Battle of Alberta games. But I will say from a fan perspective, that game 1, I know there was a lot of goals. That was brutal hockey. I don't even enjoy watching that. It's awful.
I had fun watching.
I don't. I'd rather watch like a 3-2 Blues over the Avs in like good penalty kills, like physical, up and down the ice, close game. Like, buddy, this looks like pond hockey. It's awful.
Okay, Boomer.
No, I ain't even fucking. I like a little bit of everything. That's why I fucking tweeted the praise I had out for the St. Louis and Avs series, and I obviously am poopy pants because my Flames are losing too. But golly,
you just want to see the hockey that the Flames will win if they play.
Yeah.
The Lucic hit. Yeah, I said like Ryan Miller's having flashbacks. I was completely kidding in the fact that was nothing remotely close to when he ran over Ryan Miller. This one, I admit it was. It shouldn't have been a 5-minute major. So many people were like, "That's crazy. He's got a prior whatever issue with that." He meant to hurt him. It's like I don't know what you're.
It's the same brain dead fans. It's the same brain dead fans that are tagging me in when McKinnon got his helmet knocked off and then he put it back on and they're like, "Oh, see, was it that hard, Biz?" Buddy, he fumble fucked it away from the play and he put it back on and you could see the ear flap was on the inside and it was distracting him. And as he skated off the ice, he chucked his bucket. And then you cut the clip short like a fucking bozo and then you tag me in it. Avery.
Oh my God, Avery did that?
Avery, and I said,
what a little bitch,
fraud.
Avery.
How do you say his last name again? Zaretsky?
Zaretsky. Yeah.
You're a fucking fraud. And I got your jersey and I texted our producer and it'll be on the broadcast on Monday.
Get your phone out, Avery.
Wow,
texting me every hour on the hour since it arrived 3 days ago. I
love how he said we would have thrown him in the Hudson River in like the next day. It's like, no, we wouldn't have.
I'm upset about I don't think this Battle of Alberta has lived up to the expectations that I expected coming in. I'm disgusted. I know I've been very negative about it. I'm sure you Oilers fans are loving life. And I told you guys, I'm a little upset that ESPN's cock blocking us on knowing where we're going to end up going for the live feed for the conference finals to the point where it may not happen anymore. But if Edmonton does win and Colorado advances, I hope that I have to go to Edmonton and shave my head. And I hope that all you Oilers fans get to laugh at me in person. And it would be sweet justice for me doubting you and for pushing all my chips in the middle at a point in the season where Calgary was buzzing and the Oilers were very vulnerable.
I'm curious, was it not like a week into the season? Am I totally off on that?
It was a little later than that, I believe.
Find out when the bet was made, G.
I listen, we got a little bit more hockey to talk about. We can wrap up this Battle of Alberta bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, if Calgary comes back, then we'll
up too.
Passion of the Christ. When Dan Vladar come in for Calgary, that's now 13 of 16 playoff teams that have used 2 goalies in the playoffs thus far. Dallas, Florida, and Tampa, the only teams that have only used 1 goalie. What do you got, G?
The bet was made on November 2nd, 2021.
Okay, 3 weeks into the season, maybe.
All right.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was a little earlier than I thought, I guess.
Big signing to announce. Congratulations, Brady Tkachuk. He was signed by Budweiser Canada as they released on Instagram. So
that's the curse. Stop looking at me. We were rolling.
Yeah, a different team without Brady and fucking Walt mucking up in the fucking stands.
I feel like you're like panicking way too early here. It's 2-1. There's a lot of hockey left in this series here.
Gee, the hockey that I've watched over the last 3 games is a major level for concern. And I think that Calgary looks shook right now. And they have a goaltending issue all of a sudden. So sometimes these things can't get fixed very quickly. And next thing you know, at the drop of a hat in playoff time, you're all of a sudden booking your all-inclusives and your tea times. So, yeah, I am panicking. but I think that I have every right to, and I think that probably at least 50% of the Calgary fan base would agree with me based on what they've witnessed over the first 3 games. I wasn't happy with that Game 1 win. That scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what is this? I don't want to see any more of that. Lock it up. I tweeted, lock it up.
They're not
Figure it
listening.
out.